had a screening of Badlands.
Yes, right.
Which was, I think it was. Yeah,
that was good.
Which was a phenomenal type of film.
I didn't see that. I've only ever seen that on. I saw it on VHS tape years and years ago. I think
it's definitely one of those ones that you want to see on the big screen, just because it's Malik and his kind of weird visual poetry that he has and his fascination with the natural world. Came to the fore with The Tree of Life. And Chris, you don't seem like you're a fan.
I can.
What about the dinosaurs?
Oh, I did not like the dinosaurs.
I heard there were I never saw it, but I hear there were dinosaurs.
They were dinosaurs. They weren't the greatest looking. They certainly weren't on the level of Jurassic Park. But
okay.
If they took the dinosaurs out, it would have definitely been in my top 10.
The dinosaurs were the deciding factor.
Yeah, no,
The dinosaurs. A Terrence Malick film and the dinosaurs the deciding factor.
Wow.
This film to me is more about the father-son relationship, and that's the bit that hooked me in.
But it's the whole micro and the macro. It's the father-son relationship, but it's also the whole creation of the galaxy and the planet.
So I didn't see it, but does it feel like a joke from the John Malkovich film? The adaptation of John Malkovich. You know, the adaptation where he's Kaufman's writing the screenplay and it's like we start at the beginning of time and it's like protozoa like building into life.
No, it's all part of it.
It didn't feel like a silly.
No,
did it feel like a silly aside to you? No.
No, because there's the whole thing with nature and nurture and grace and.
It felt like too much.
It felt too much to me. I actually fell asleep during that bit as well.
Wow.
Was it because there were no talking? Did the dinosaurs talk?
No, they were.
It's the dinosaurs.
Sorry.
It was. I mean, I saw it opening night of the film festival, and you could tell that especially like a lot of people were leaving in the last 5-10 minutes of the film, which to me didn't make sense because
5 to 10 minutes. Of the film.
Exactly. You've sat through that much, but why didn't you sort of stick around to see how it ended?
It's like the people in America that were getting angry and suing people. Oh, that was a Drive.
It was Drive.
Sorry,
it's ridiculous.
But people walked out of Tree of Life because they were like Brad Pitt, and they went and they were like, "This sucks."
Yeah, I mean, I could totally see. It's not a perfect film, by any chance.
I read a big article. Can't remember where online somewhere about Sean Penn's character being superfluous.
Well, from what you read from what Sean Penn has said, he doesn't understand the film either. I believe there was a lot more shot with his character.
Yeah.
It's probably there's like a 5-hour director's cut
of most Malick films.
I respect Tree of Life for shooting for the stars, basically, and kind of not quite sticking the landing, but really like.
No, it's definitely a film I admire, and I mean I rated it really highly.
Incredibly brave.
I don't know, maybe I just have to see it again.
Unfortunately, I think it's one that's really experienced.
He's a big screen
on the big screen, and even when it was out, we got a brief release after the festival. When it was out, it didn't have a big kind of screen. I mean, it was because no one went and saw it. It got stuck in the little screens.
In Paramount, or
well, I know it played at the Penthouse in Brooklyn. Probably played at Paramount.
Yeah.
That's
one to see on a big screen. We'll hire a projector out and we can come around and watch it in my place.
There we go. The rest of my list. What the hell else was on there? Melancholia.
Film I really did not like. I think I'm one of the only people. I consider myself quite a film scholar, but I think most people that are like lovers of film seem to love that film. I do not, and I'm not like giant mainstream man. I like a lot of independent stuff, but I really didn't. The main reason I didn't like Melancholia is because for the first half, I think I liked the second half more, but only slightly. Yeah. I still hated it to a certain extent. It's like less hate. The first half, no one felt genuine. All those guys working for the ad agency, because I've dealt with a lot of guys like that. None of those people felt like those people. Maybe they're different in New Zealand. I don't know. Maybe they're different in America or wherever Melancholia was set. I think it was America. None of those people felt real. All that weird business talk. None of it felt real. I hated that stuff. I liked the main actresses, Kirsten Dunst. I thought she was very good. The other reason, I think I have a low tolerance for that sort of character, and I feel bad saying this, but it made me appreciate people that have to deal with depression on that scale.
We're going to talk about this after.
Yeah, and I really, I'm really glad I've dealt with people that have depression in my life, but none of them are that bad. And I'm really glad because I find her insufferable. which is probably what they were looking for, right? To a certain
well,
extent. But it did made me not like the film. Made me feel like I couldn't wait for it to stop.
Certainly not likable characters, but I think
none of the characters are likable.
Von Trier has suffered from depression. I think Kirsten Dunst,
which is I guess why he's got such a good insight to it. I've read a lot of blogs online that have said this is a really good depiction. They talk to you about it too. Of depression and this sort of state of being, and which is good, but I feel like it doesn't make a good film. But I'm in the minority there, I know that. I think a lot of people think it's fantastic, I just didn't like it.
It was as well as, with Tree of Life, I was awestruck. With Melancholia, I was kind of gobsmacked. Just, Von Trier has kind of gone the complete opposite way to the whole Dogma manifesto. Like, it's just visually gorgeous.
I have to agree.
Even Antichrist, there was moments of just visual deliciousness.
Agree. Very, very pretty. Very good looking movie. Really, really, really well shot.
And
I
certainly
didn't feel the motion sickness at all. Other people felt the motion sickness.
I kept waiting for it, and I thought it was going to be like the end of the world bit, but it was like...
I've seen many films with much more motion sicknessy, inducing camera moments in that film.
Into the Void. It's one. Moving on from Melancholia, what else is well on my list? Jeez.
You had a lot of Fantastic Fest films.
A lot of Fantastic Fest films, which I sort of debated, but it's films that I saw this year.
Yeah.
So I know not everyone's going to have seen them. The Giants from the film festival.
Not on my list, but it was on your list. I didn't see it.
No, well,
it wasn't on a list of films to see.
I wasn't going to see it, and then I just happened to have a spare spot, and I was like, I'll go and see this. Why not? It was pretty
really
great.
Good.
It was just one of those nice surprises.
It's kids and.
I mean, the description in the film festival program kind of made me wary. It was described as like a socially realist Stand By Me.
That sounds awful.
Like,
who wants that?
Sounds kind of rubbish, but no, it was really a lot of fun and just I don't know. It was just
stop for a moment. Who sees that? Sorry, I would interrupt. Who sees socially realist Stand By Me and goes, want to see that?
Yeah. People obviously did because there were people there. So
sorry to say. Just
a wonderful, wee Belgian film that hadn't heard anything about. Haven't really heard anything since.
No. Is that on DVD?
No idea. Yeah. But it was just one of those delightful surprises that you get at the film festival occasionally. Yeah. And then also, I had films from Fantastic Fest.
13 Assassins.
13 Assassins as well, which was not the greatest experience.
Oh yeah, for you.
In fact, that could probably go down as one of the worst experiences I had in the cinema this year, but it was one of the greatest films I saw this year. The problem with fucking film festivals sometimes is the audience. I was stuck next to someone who obviously was expecting something completely different.
I don't know what. When you told me that, I was just like, that film is full of awesome shit. Like, I don't know what.
But the whole lead up to all that awesome shit is very slow and very takes its time,
cool.
soaking you into that world.
But it's not boring. It's still cool.
But it's very cool. But obviously, some people don't think it's very cool.
I was surprised at the number of names that are thrown out in that film as well. You've got to keep up.
Yes.
Just expecting action.
It's like Seven Samurai to a certain extent. I felt like that when I first watched Seven Samurai. Like, who's that doing the thing now?
Yeah. It's kind of hard to keep track of all the characters, but that's why there's all that sort of build up, so you get to know who all those characters are and really sort of recognise them.
It felt very much like a Leone-esque and also Kurosawa-esque action sequences, like when the violence broke out, brutal and fast, except for the final battle, which went forever. It was awesome.
It was fantastic. But the twat sitting next to me was obviously not impressed, and it wasn't like if he was talking, it would have been easy for me to just turn around and say, shut the hell up. He was just exactly.
When I get out of here, get a cigarette.
I hate people that deep sound.
So it's just it was not quite enough for me to say shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But enough to really kind of put me on edge.
You told him off afterwards, right?
I told him off afterwards.
Yeah.
Next time, shut the... Anyway, right. 13 Assassins. Really liked it. Great film.
It's good.
And then from Fantastic Fest, Mila Croce, A Love Story, which was a perfect encapsulation of why I went to Fantastic Fest, because it was not so to the extreme and just phenomenal, hilarious and epic and all about love. And
sounds good.
Three Tales and random made-up names and cartoon violence and a little boy who got his heart broken and had a hole in his chest that he had covered with a pop lid.
Yeah, I just see this film.
Just phenomenal, and it was quite an experience watching it because again, I had absolutely no idea what it was going in, and it was a relatively empty audience because no one else had any idea what it was going in, and it just blew me away.
Was it one of the things like, oh, we missed something else in the day, we'll go see this instead?
I honestly can't remember. It was maybe even the first screening of Melancholia. I can't remember. It was just okay. That's because the way Fantastic Fest works is you have to book the tickets you're going to see for that day on the morning.
Yeah.
So just that's sometimes how the schedule shook out. As I went and saw something I had no idea I was going to go and see.
Nice.
And also from Fantastic Fest Clown,
which I read about this morning, and I thought, what?
Yeah.
What? How do you mean you read about it?
Because I read your review of it, and then I was like, to find out more about this, and I went to IMDb and read the synopsis, and I was like, first of all, there's no clowns in it.
It's based on a TV series, right?
It's
is it?
Dutch, Danish. I was getting confused. Sorry, Dutch and Danish people.
And it's kind of like The Office.
Is
it?
Well, it's
I didn't get that at all.
It's two comedians who play sort of heightened versions of themselves, getting into, I assume, awkward situations like that. And it's very much like The Office. It's the sort of documentary style. They never acknowledge the documentary style or anything like that.
The first thing I read on the content advisory, because you said, some of the things would have to be cut for the audiences, and I was like, okay, so I went to IMDb. First thing was like, contains lots of instances of full frontal male nudity. I was like, okay.
Yeah. There's quite a lot.
Comedy.
So it's
It's
gone for like 6 seasons, I think, the TV show. And so the movie takes these two guys.
Puts them in a scenario they're not usually in.
Yes, well, there's the kind of the cool hip guy who's, looking forward to the canoe trip that they go on because there's once a year brothel that they're going to go to, and then there's the kind of there's a slightly the nerdier kind of dorky guy who his partner becomes pregnant and tension within their relationship because he's a bit of a dick. So he's kind of trying to set out to prove that he can be a good father. And the way he does that is by kidnapping her 12-year-old nephew and taking him on the canoe trip.
And parenting him.
Canoe trip, it's like a fun camping trip. But of course...
Look how good I am.
But his cool friend is pissed off because the whole point of the canoe trip is for them to go around getting laid and then go to the once-a-year brothel.
Yeah.
Hilarity ensues.
Was there a ladder? Someone fell off a ladder?
Possibly.
I was reading about that.
A lot of very wrong humour.
Okay. That's one I have to see now that I've read
It's about. Absolutely one that I would...
You described it as one of the funniest films you'd ever seen.
Funniest films I've ever seen. It just knocked me out.
Full frontal man nudity, kidnapping, sex orgy. Funniest film ever.
Hilarious! Astoundingly hilarious.
Right,
it doesn't let up. But it's also got a great sort of emotional story at the centre of it.
Do you have a number one?
I can't number.
No, I can't remember. I put Fire in Babylon up there, but it's kind of like just because it stood out.
Yeah.
Things that stood out the most.
It's like I could put something like Melancholia or Tree of Life at number one. But I don't know if that's a film. If those are films that I'm necessarily going to watch again, especially at home.
Not me,
because I feel like they're
Melancholia.
Yeah. Okay.
Tree of Life.
They're cinema type of movies, whereas something like Captain America, X-Men First Class.
I watch them lots.
I totally watch them all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's difficult for me to put things in.
It's hard to watch something with an emotional punch, like heaps. I love. I know someone that says, I love Requiem for a Dream. I used to watch that every month.
Jeez,
and I was like, holy crap! I could never do that. That film, I haven't seen that since I saw it at the cinema. And I still remember it. I think that was a great film, but I don't really want to see it again.
I don't want to see it again. It's disturbing.
Yeah. But it was good, right?
It was very good.
Gut punch of a film,
Smacks you over the head with its anti-smack message, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Anti-smack message. So moving on from our favourite films and film experiences.
I'll add to that because
okay.
there are 3 films that I saw at the movies that aren't on my list because they were reissues.
Oh, yeah, the classics.
Yeah.
Oh.